I think that's a great intro for our candidate, Dr. Nazir Harb-Michel.
All right, thank you very much, Bella. Thank you everyone for being here. Good afternoon, friends, family, community members. I couldn't be happier to see you all here and feel your energy and support. Before I go on any further, let me introduce myself briefly to those who may not know me. My name is Nazir Harb-Michel. My pronouns are he, him, and I am running for Sammamish City Council, position number 3. I'm 36 years old, and I've been happily living here with my wife and our 3 young daughters for the last 4 years. I was raised north of Seattle in Edmonds. I studied international relations at Seattle University, have a master's in public affairs from Princeton, and a master's in political discourse and PhD in linguistics from Georgetown. I now work at a Seattle financial tech company that serves immigrants' needs. I am half Mexican and half Lebanese and Muslim. Welcome and thank you for being here. Welcome and thank you, I think I saw her earlier, Representative Tana Sen, for being here as well. I'm so thankful for our guest speakers, Frank So, Father Jerry Cobb, Imam Yahya Hendi, and of course, I'm thankful for the presence of my dear longtime friends, Shasti Conrad and DJ Widener. A big thanks to my tireless campaign manager, Bella, and to our fundraising expert, Natalia, our strategist, Michael. A special thanks to our treasurer, Christy, who was with us from the beginning and has worn just about every hat that there is at one point or another during this campaign. She's worked so hard to help make our small but mighty staff, something formidable. My hat is off to all of you. I could not have done all of this without you. Right now, let me say a little bit more about what I mean when I say all of this. I started this race late, comparatively, and without any volunteers or much of a team or any idea how to run for office. As a first-time candidate, just starting a new job and with 3 young kids at home, and all of us still navigating COVID, it was messy. I filed on time, but I missed a critical deadline early in August to submit an entry for the voters pamphlet that's sent out by election services with mail-in ballots. That would have been a big hit in any situation, but given that I was running against a council member who was also the mayor of Sammamish and likely the longest running public servant in Sammamish in its 20-year history or so, I felt like my campaign was dead in the water. I seriously contemplated withdrawing from the race. What chance did I have of getting elected if the source of information more than 70 people cite as the only research they do before voting features a virtually blank entry besides my name, my website, and my contact information? I was down, but I eventually picked myself back up again. I got a lot of help from Shasti to put together a team and a plan. And amid my soul searching, I realized I was running for something bigger than a city council seat. What mattered to me most wasn't winning or losing. Those who know me well know, in fact, that my intention with this campaign was never to launch a political career. I love my job and I find a lot of meaning in it. What made me decide to run was still true despite the setbacks. I wanted to be something my longtime mentor since high school, Paul Schneider, reminded me of around the time I started getting involved in local politics last fall, that at my core, my sense of mission in life is to be a peacemaker. Running for city council was an opportunity to do just that, not in a hypothetical sense either, but in a real way to get involved and make sure Sammamish is a place that's safe and welcoming to all, to my kids and my wife, my brother-in-law and his family, my neighbors, and everyone who lives and works here. As quiet and beautiful a city as Sammamish is, just below the surface, there's a surprisingly great deal of turmoil. People, neighbors, arguing passionately and sometimes destructively with one another over questions of land use and infrastructure, the environment and traffic, school capacity, and the local economy. A project that was conceived of around 10 years ago to build what's called the town center has become a flashpoint of divisiveness and real anger, and even multi-million-dollar lawsuits and national news headlines. How big should Sammamish be, some ask? With a population of 67,000, can our current infrastructure support us now, let alone as we continue to grow? What about adding commercial space or multifamily housing? It's a veritable cacophony of voices and self-sure opinions about these questions and more. And at the heart of the infighting is a perfidious untruth. it's the same fallacy, by my estimation, that has poisoned the waters of our national politics. The notion that there is no we, that there is only us and there's them. I believe this and they believe that. How could they? What's wrong with them? Surely only my way is the right way. And if they think something different from me, it can only be because they're motivated by something dark and insidious. To then choose to fall into the oppositional roles laid out in these scripts without data or evidence is to perpetuate conspiratorial thinking and steal the oxygen from the room needed for hope to breathe. From these, the uncivil war, or from there, I should say, the uncivil war between neighbors and friends ensues. In Sammamish, the battle lines have been drawn along similarly stark and concocted lines in the sand. Over and over, as candidates, we're asked the same questions. Do you support the town center, and therefore the developers who want to build it, or the residents, who, it is claimed, feel that current infrastructure isn't sufficient for further growth of any kind, and variations of that question. My campaign, however, has been, and much to the chagrin of those who would like me to pick a side and join the fight, about building bridges and identifying points of potential cooperation. That means, in response to yes or no's, I write short essays that frustrate the status quo, but inspire a growing coalition of other do-gooders who've reached out and have themselves been promulgating the message that we can choose to do things differently. What's been the most meaningful part of my experience in this election has been the chance to respond to even the cruelest statements and accusations with confounding love and civility. The more hateful and virulent the vitriol or misinformation about me, the kinder and warmer my response is. And in a way, I think it's working. A current public official wrote to me recently saying that he essentially sees through my facade of civility and believes that the residents will recognize my ideological goals to indoctrinate people into the views of the Democratic Party and that they will never vote for me. My response was to not only explain my views patiently and in more detail, but also to thank him for taking time out of his busy schedule to acknowledge my race and to share his thoughts. I thanked him for his years of public service. He, like the other city councilors, is only compensated for essentially parking costs over the 4 years of his term, years that encompass hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of truly painstaking work, reading, studying, writing, planning, and compromising week after week. I told him that as a council member, he represents me and my family too, and that means he wants what's best for us. And for that, we're sincerely grateful. A few minutes later, he replied to me. He said, "You're a class act, and I hope you stay involved no matter what." Another time, a highly involved resident who supports the other candidate running for the position that I am described me as someone receiving funds from special interests and the support of developers who are seeking to profit off of our city by trampling building codes. I wrote back with the data I based my actual positions on and clarified that I am not receiving special interest funds, nor would I, and I thanked him for his engagement and passion for protecting Sammamish from outside groups trying to take advantage of our small city. In the end, he thanked me for running. I've spoken and taken pictures with the other person running for the position I'd like to win 3 times now. My kids know her by name and get excited to see her. She's held our youngest daughter, Noah, and the last time we met, after sign waving on opposite corners of an intersection, we decided to exchange signs for a little while and held up each other's signs for drivers to see. We've talked about the issues, and neither of us would fear for the city if the other won. I could go on. The reason I do these things is not to endorse or provoke, as some have charged, the other candidate running against me, nor is it to equate my views and positions with theirs per se. I do this rather to build bridges, to turn down the temperature and help people see each other, hear each other, and stop the fear and anxiety. Sammamish needs to heal. There's something broken here that I reckon is the same thing or related to what's also broken at the national level. We've stopped seeing each other as friends and neighbors, and instead we see each other as friends or foes. We condemn, shout down, pigeonhole, shame, cancel, corner, and call out. And those things need to happen sometimes too. Recently, I used strong words to remind someone who was relentlessly picking on me and another minority candidate, that there are many kinds of experiences that qualify someone for office, and that we're frankly not interested in his opinion of us based on his conveniently self-aggrandizing, privileged criteria. We can't, however, do this without also doing that and the other. The harder work is in finding common ground with those we deeply disagree with, learning to speak the same language, base our opinions on the same facts, and coming to understand and sympathize with the experiences that bring people to certain perspectives. That is incredibly challenging, but so too is it rewarding and effective, and it is democracy at its finest. It is the stuff of community building. It is the work we don't think about in the pauses between the words of our national credo, e pluribus unum, from many, one. It is the ability to shake hands before and after a debate, to wish one another well, to, as I have, pick up each other's campaign yard signs when they're laying flat on the ground. It is learning to look forward together, seeing the ways even our disagreements make us better together, make our policy more balanced and rounded, and help us bring more people along who before felt left behind and passed by. Sammamish is a small, beautiful green city on the plateau between bustling Redmond and quickly growing Issaquah. Sammamish is quiet and full of verdant parks and picturesque lakes. It has highly rated public schools, and it is a place many diverse peoples are proud to call home. I fear in terms of our politics, however, we're once bitten, twice shy. Rather than celebrate the fact that all of this year's candidates agree on the big things, the goals related to smart growth and commensurate infrastructure and ensuring policy is determined by residents and workers, there are still those, and there are many, and on all sides of the issues, who wish to promote the facile and perhaps oldest myth of politics, that there are two sides and one is right about everything and it's the one I'm on, and one is wrong about everything and it's the one you're on. This worldview pushes us to pick a side and to fight. I have instead chosen over and over to rise above the clamoring few who would have me jump into the mud. As one person put it to me, enough already with all this stuff about positivity and civility. Negativity works. The nice guys last election all lost. I've been told versions of that nice guys finish last line my whole life, and it hasn't stopped me yet. I choose to instead live by the words of my great friend and leader who is with us here today, Imam Hendi. I don't have to be wrong for you to be right. It may seem like a big statement about what is a local election, a race for city council in a nice suburb of Seattle, a city that was once again this week named the best small city in the country. But I want my race to represent something different than just another instance of us versus them, where one wins and the other loses and so on and so forth. I want my race to be remembered as having been about people, about learning that it's far more powerful to work out differences over a cup of coffee than by smearing each other online, that only the small-minded can't see past black and white to the nuances of someone's truth, that maybe politics doesn't have to always operate in a competitive paradigm. It can, if we choose to make it so, be about partnerships where people with different perspectives meet and speak with one another rather than avoid each other and talk about one another. Maybe the purpose of the campaign can be to highlight important issues, engage voters, teach, learn, and grow as a person and as a community member. I really believe that this vision may indeed be if we choose to do the harder work of healing and walking together. I stand for all people's civil rights and liberties, as well as our health and socioeconomic well-being as members of minority groups and the majority alike. In January of this year, on January 6th, in fact, I ran for and was elected by the 41st Legislative District of Washington State as a representative of the King County Democrats, and I continue to serve in that capacity alongside my friend Pam Stewart. Like many of you, I haven't forgotten what happened on January 6th. I still shake when I recall the images, when I reflect on how close we all were to losing this most amazing and unique thing about where we live. What makes America, America, I believe, is our commitment to each other. It's a kind of promise. It's a promise to uphold one another's equal humanity, dignity, and innate value. I was elected on the same day after speaking for only about 2 minutes to a quorum of Democratic Party members in my state, a small thing in itself, but a sign to the people I love, the country I love, to my God and to the world, that I, Nazir Harb Michel, imperfect as I may be, choose to stand up and try to make things better, try to protect what is great about America. To recenter us to today, a little over a week out from Election Day on November 2nd, my priority continues to be to make sure that City Council is making data-driven decisions that ensure that no subset of the population's views outweighs that of another's. I want the City Council to be focused on public service and delivering tangible, positive results for the residents and workers of Sammamish. I hope you'll all join me in this struggle. It's an improbable battle to win, maybe, but it may be if we choose to make it be, if we choose each other, if we choose to see that we can be on the same side, standing together, looking ahead at a place beyond right and wrong, where we're neighbors and friends more than anything else or any other labels. I believe this impossible is possible because my life is this possibility. My mother is Mexican, my father is Lebanese. Theirs is a remarkable story about a Catholic and a Muslim meeting in Texas and getting married in Mexico and moving to Seattle to make a better life for their kids, and they did it. They have a vision of America that's full of hope. And while they struggle at times, I don't believe their relationship or my family would have been possible anywhere else. That vision of America at its best is what motivates me today. I'm ready to work hard for Sammamish and defend those values of openness and acceptance that made my family feel safe here. And that, in short, is why I'm running for City Council, to keep their dream alive. Supporting me means signing on to my commitment to work toward better infrastructure, long-term planning, and meaningful mitigations for our transportation problems, affordable housing availability, classroom size issues, and questions of fiscal responsibility. And permeating everything I would work on are my personal commitments to sustainability and diversity. I'm running because I care, because I love my kids and my wife, my neighbors, this city, state, country, and you. I care because of my abiding faith in that most American, yet most improbable proposition that together we are better. Thank you for being here, for listening, for your courage, for your love and support. Thanks for caring and choosing to believe in a person as different as me with a campaign as different as mine.